Alright, 6th graders, today we are looking at solving equations containing fractions. By the end of this lesson, you would be able to solve one-step equations that contain fractions. Once again, just to review, remember solving equations is about maintaining balance. We've talked about this several times. So the biggest thing is what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So for example, if I have x minus 1/5 equals 3/5, since I'm subtracting 1/5 from 3/5, I'm going to add 1/5 to both sides. X would equal, since my denominators are the same, 3/5 plus 1/5 would be 4/5. So now you go ahead and pause the video and try the next one on your own. Since we have 1/3 plus y, we have to get rid of the 1/3, so I'm going to subtract 1/3 from both sides. So y is going to equal, now here, if you look at the bottom, remember when we are adding or subtracting fractions, you must first find a common denominator. So, since 8 and 3 are different, we have to first find a common denominator, in which case I would probably use 24. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 8, 1 times 8 would be 8, so we have 15 minus 8, which would be 7/24. So let's look at some more examples. If we have 2/3 times q equals 4/5, we are going to want to undo multiplication, which means we're going to divide both sides by 2/3. Remember, when we divide by a fraction, we're actually going to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's what I'm just going to do on both sides. And then I'm going to get q is equal to 4/5 times 3/2. 4 and 2 share a common factor of 2, so this becomes a 1. This becomes a 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. 6/5 would equal 1 and 1/5. So now you go ahead and pause the video and try the next two on your own. If we have 3y equals 7/8, we can divide both sides by 3, but once again, because we have a fraction on the other side, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So y is going to equal 7 times 1 is 7, 8 times 3, 24, or 7/24. Here we're going to change our mixed number into an improper fraction first. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I have 5 halves equals 4w. So once again, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 4, which would be 1/4. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 2 is 8. So 5/8 is equal to w. Alright, pink gold is made of pure gold, silver, and copper. There's 11/20 more pure gold than copper. So if we have 11/20 plus copper is equal to our pure gold, and if pink gold is 3/4 pure gold, right, then we're going to go ahead and subtract, so we're adding 11/20 from both sides. So the copper, remember 3/4, so we have to find a common denominator, which would be 20. So times 5 times 5, 3 times 5 is 15, minus 11/20 gives us 4/20, or 4 goes into both, which would be 1/5. So it would be pink gold's, the amount of copper would be 1/5. Alright, so let's try one more example. And I will warn you that we're going to end up with a different answer for this one, but we're just going to go ahead and work with it since this is what we have. Alright, over the course of a week, Marissa ate 5/8 the number of apples her mother had picked. So if we started with the number of apples, she ate 5/8 of them. So we're going to subtract 5/8 of A. So we don't know how many that actually is. And her brother also ate 6 apples that week. So we're also going to subtract 6 apples. And at the end of the week, there were 20 apples left in the basket. We want to know how many apples did her mother pick. So if we work backwards, assuming the brother ate his 6 last, go ahead and add 6 to both sides. So we have the number of apples that she picked minus the 5/8 of the apples that Marissa ate is equal to 26. Now here, this is really 1 times the number of apples, or if we're looking at common denominators, I take that out, and this is actually 8/8. So if there were 8/8 and Marissa ate 5/8, 3/8 times the number of apples her mom picked would equal 26. And since it's multiplying by a fraction, to divide, we multiply by the reciprocal. So we have 8/3. So then A is equal to 26 times 8 would be 208, because if I do 26 times 8, 4, 16, 208 over 3. And this is what I meant about the weird answer, because 208 is not evenly divided by 3. 3 goes into 20 6 times, which would be 18, with 2 left over. 3 goes into 28 9 times, which would be 27, with 1 left over. So it's 69 1/3. So we would say that her mom picked around 69 1/3 apples, although we know we can't actually pick 1/3 of an apple. And that's why I was saying that you're going to get kind of a weird answer for this one.